Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 477. Phil Graham here. It's the last day of June, and I've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the Facebook/Meta ad library, which is a great thing, but the challenge is a lot of advertisers use it in a way that can be very costly. So you want to use it smart, and you don't want to make those same mistakes that many other advertisers actually make. So just because a competitor might be running an ad, it doesn't mean it actually works. You would be shocked. And if you're building your strategy for your ads based off of incomplete information, then you might be copying or modeling something that's horrible to begin with, and you don't even realize it. In today's episode, I want to share some ways that I recommend using the Meta ad library, as well as mistakes to avoid when using it, because that's super important. Because so many advertisers make big mistakes with this. Now, I'm going to keep this episode short, sweet, full of value, and very actionable. But before we jump in, just a quick note. If you guys are looking for some help with your ads, there are so many people that are frustrated and struggling with their ads, with their marketing. They're blindly just trusting AI. And a lot of people I hear are having horrible results with it, or they don't know what to do. They don't know who to trust. And that doesn't even include all the scammers and get rich quick idiots out there. So if you want some real help, some one-on-one help, whether that's somebody to run your ads for you or some one-on-one consulting, which I think is the best way in the world to learn. For either one of those things, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or send me a DM on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. So let's jump right in and talk about the Facebook and Meta ad library and some things that you have to be careful with when you're using it. Number one, the ad library shows you the ad, but more importantly, it does not obviously show you the result of the ad. So yes, you can see the image, the video, you can see the ad copy. You can even see usually how long the ad has been running. However, you cannot see the actual important things, which are cost per lead, cost per purchase, return on ad spend, conversion rate, profitability, and more. You are completely blind without seeing those things. Just because an ad is active doesn't mean it's profitable. So that's the first thing, first little warning for you on this. Number two, and this is the thing that trips most people up. I think out of all the things we're going to talk about today, this one is the one that's most common. Number two is just because an ad has been running for a long time does not mean that it is a good or even profitable ad. I would say 90% of the people look at an ad in the ad library and say, oh my gosh, they've been running it for like a year. It's got to be working. Like, what idiot would run an ad forever that doesn't work? Well, my friend, you would be shocked, because I see lots of ad accounts. It happens all the time. Sometimes advertisers are not even paying attention in terms of the return. Other times they've got a tiny budget. Other times they didn't even realize it was running, or they're losing money on it, but they're just not wanting to mess with it. Like, there's so many reasons. I could give you 500 reasons why crazy advertisers let things run that are actually losing money. When you see an ad that's been running a long time, don't just assume that it's working, because that assumption can be very, very costly to you. I cannot emphasize that enough. Let's talk about another challenge. Number three. When you look at ads in the ad library, you don't really know the business model behind the ad. You don't know, is it a higher margin kind of a thing or a lower margin? You might think you know, but you don't know. You know, some advertisers are willing to actually lose money on an ad and on a transaction if they have a higher lifetime value system that's been proven over time, especially if it's like a brand or somebody that's more well known. Or maybe they have a really strong sales team behind it that makes it work. Maybe they have other back-end offers that you don't realize. So there's so many things that you just don't know in regards to the business model behind that ad. So even if you find something and even if you somehow magically knew that it worked, it doesn't mean it's automatically going to work for you. I like to actually give a great example as well. Imagine you and I were to start a shoe company tomorrow, and we're going to go into the business of selling athletic shoes, sports shoes. We could copy everything that Nike does. I think arguably Nike's the richest, most successful shoe company in the history of the world. We could copy all their ads, all their messaging, and do everything exactly like Nike does to the best of our ability. Do you think we're going to have the same results? Hell no, like not even close. It's a completely night and day different situation. Don't fall into this trap, my friends. Next point, number 4. This is a really big one. So many people look at what competitors are doing on the ad library, and you know what they do? They copy them, whether it's copying the whole ad or just important parts of the ad, like hooks or angles or visuals. And you know what? To me, that is a very dumb decision in a lot of cases, because you're just copying. Number one, you don't even know if you're copying something that works. You might be copying something that's horrible, but even if it was something that worked, you are now just copying them. You are not the original source, and you're just going to be one of another in a crowded market, and you probably won't get noticed. Obviously, there can be exceptions here, but there's so many people that just copy their competitors, and I think that's insane. So here is how I would use the ad library in a much smarter, better way, in my opinion. Yes, I love looking at it, and I like looking at what competitors are doing. But you know what? I look and see what they're doing so I can do the opposite, so I can differentiate, so I can stand out instead of copying them. I think like that's the number one difference with me versus so many others when it comes to that. And then the other thing I can say is, in regards to looking at that ad library, I'm looking for gaps. I'm looking for patterns. So I'm looking throughout the industry to see, in regards to like patterns, are there certain types of ads that many other advertisers are using, but maybe there's a gap where there's something that doesn't get used as much. And I might try and do a similar pattern and test that, but I'm also darn well going to test a gap that I find. If somebody's not doing something very much, like in terms of industry wide, I'd love to stand out. So looking for patterns and gaps, and you can try the pattern, but you can also try the gap as well. And then don't copy and all these other things that we talked about. Those are some of the ways that I think are the best, at least for us, for me, to use that meta ad library. Because again, I think most people just pretty much blindly copy what they see, or if not copy, they just assume that what they see is working. And there's a good chance that what you're looking at is losing money. So don't just assume that it works. And as always, just a reminder, it's always important to point out that every business is unique. Results can vary. There's no guaranteed outcomes. So always keep that in mind. So my friends, I hope that was helpful. Episode 477 is in the books. Appreciate you guys being here. Next week, we've got a great show for you guys. I'm going to be talking about why your Facebook ads need a better and stronger point of view in the ad. It's really important. So few advertisers are doing this. But until then, if you're looking for some help, philgrahamdigital.com, and I will talk to you on next week's episode. Have a great week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.